The witness may step down. Commonwealth may call its next witness.
Commonwealth would call Christopher Murphy.
Right this way, sir. Thank you.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Sir, could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Christopher Murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y.
What do you do for work, sir?
Construction.
Where were you working in January of 2023?
I was working at a painting company. I'm sorry, I haven't been working there for 3 years, so
It's okay.
it's been a while.
All right. So you were working at a painting company.
Yes,
How long do you think you were at that painting company?
a year.
And in that time, what were your responsibilities at that company?
I was a salesperson.
Okay. In January of 2023, were you running any specials at that point in time?
Yes.
What was the specials?
We were offering 15% off any work that people needed to have done.
And so how are you contacting people at this point in time to offer the special?
We were calling all our past customers that we had, we used to work for, and we do like a cold call kind of thing. And I called, a bunch of people that day, and the defendant was one of them.
Well, let me get to that. Okay. So when you were calling people, do you remember what phone number you were calling from? Was it a work number?
It was a work phone, yes.
And if I were to tell it to you, would it help? Actually, I'll ask you right now. Do you remember that work number right now?
No, I don't.
Because it's been 3 years. You haven't enough time to remember where you worked.
I don't remember my own number. But
all right. So at that point in time, was the number 774-534-2005 your work number?
Possible.
Okay, possible. So now, you said that you were calling people offering this special. And so at any point in time, did you have the opportunity to reach out to Mr. Brian Walsh?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can you explain to us how?
Well, we got a list of customers that we had, that were past customers, and each salesperson got a certain list. My area was in the Hingham area. So I just went down the list and called customers, and he was, one of the customers on the list.
What day did you make this call?
January.
Okay, early or late?
Yeah, early, yeah.
Okay. And did you ever have the opportunity to connect with Mr. Walsh?
I did, yes.
And so what was the conversation you had with him?
Again, just talking about, work that possibly needed to be done, and he stated that he didn't need any work to be done.
Okay. And then did you ever have any subsequent communications with Mr. Walsh?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Did you ever have the chance to talk or communicate with him again?
Once, I believe.
Okay. And how did that occur?
It was really quick.
Quick? Was it a phone call or a text message?
It was a phone call.
Okay. And who called who?
I called him first, and then I received a text later on during that day.
Okay. And you said you received a text?
Yeah.
To a cell phone?
Yes.
All right. And you're on my phone?
Yes.
Do you recognize these images, sir?
Yes, I do.
What are they, sir?
They were pictures sent to me describing a ceiling that needed to be repaired.
Okay. Now, the pictures that you're looking at here, sir, are they the pictures that were sent to you, or are they pictures of the phone with the pictures on them?
No, they're pictures of the phone, but they were sent to me, yes.
Certainly. And are they your phone?
Yes.
This Commonwealth would seek to have these marked as the next two exhibits.
Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
Pictures of the phone, of the messages, are now in evidence as Exhibit 150, 151. Thank you.
Your Honor, may I publish?
You may.
Thank you. Ms. Gilman, if we could have what's now been marked as Exhibit 150, which has a file name of Christopher Murphy, pick page 1. Sir, can you see this on the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, whose phone is it we're looking at on the screen?
That is my phone.
Okay. And, sir, we're looking at your phone. What is the message that begins this thread? Could you read it out loud?
I'm sorry. Let me just change glasses here. Oh, that's okay. It just says his address,
Okay. Does it say any names with
phone
it?
number.
Could you just read the message, sir?
It says, hello, Brian Walsh, S16 Chief Justice, Cushing Highway.
And does it have a phone number attached to it?
Yes, it does.
All right. And underneath that, sir, you said there's a picture?
Yes, there is.
All right. Ms. Gilman, can you scroll down again? Thank you. And can we have Exhibit 151, which is Christopher Murphy picks page 2? Sir, I'm going to direct your attention to the bottom of this thread. Ms. Gilman, if you could enhance this. Sir, at the end of the thread, what is the message?
It says, good morning, let me know about the ceiling. Best, Brian.
And what's the date on the message?
January 6th.
So, sir, did you have any phone communications with Mr. Walsh besides the initial one in relation to this damage to the ceiling?
No.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any cross-examination?
No questions, thank you, sir.
The witness may step down. Thank you. Commonwealth may call its next witness.
The Commonwealth would call Suzanne Garland.
Right this way. Just watch your step for me. Step all the way in. Thank you.
You may proceed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Suzanne Garland, Garland.
And what is your occupation, ma'am?
I own a Bar Method studio. It's a bar workout in Hingham Center.
And how long have you owned the Bar Method in Hingham Center?
Since September of 2021, I opened the studio.
And is that a franchise?
It is, yes.
And how many Bar Methods are in the United States?
I think at this point about 100.
And where exactly is your studio?
It's right in Hingham Center, sort of on South Street, 99 South Street, across from CVS.
And how many employees do you have at your studio?
16.
And how many clients did you have in 2022 into 2023?
I would say about 160 active clients.
And at that time, did you keep and maintain records for your business?
Yes.
And what kind of records did you maintain?
We maintained membership agreements and class history, purchases, time and date of classes taken, the number of classes each client took.
And how did you keep those records?
Electronically.
And why do you keep those records?
For regular course of business, but also to report to our franchise.
And do you have a corporate email?
Yes.
And what is that corporate email?
I have two, actually. One is hingham@barmethod.com, and the other is my personal business email, which is suzanne.garland@barmethod.com.
And you also keep payment information?
Yes.
And do you maintain all communications with clients in good faith?
Yes.
And do you keep your records in good faith as well?
Yes,
Did you know Ana Walshe?
I did.
And how did you know Ana Walshe?
I knew Ana for several years. Actually, prior to owning the bar method, it existed in Hingham Center. Another woman in town had owned it before, and I used to take classes there with Ana all the time. She and I would be there 4 times a week together taking classes. And then when I reopened the studio after COVID in 2021, she signed up right away. And again, she was coming 4 days a week up until the time that she was moving.
And what kind of membership did she initially have with you?
She purchased a Club Bar Unlimited membership, which allowed her to take as many classes as she wanted during the month for a fixed price.
And did you have a membership agreement with her?
I did, yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Ma'am, do you recognize this?
Yes, this is our month-to-month membership agreement that we keep with all clients on the unlimited plan.
And I'd ask you to look at the last page.
This is her signature.
It's at the agreement with Ana Walshe.
Yes.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'd ask that this be the next exhibit.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Marked and admitted into evidence, the membership agreement of Ana Walshe for bar method is in evidence as 152.
Ms. Garland, as part of the membership agreement, are members asked about their health?
Yes.
And do they have to sign off for medical information?
They have to sign that they are fit to take classes
Why is that?
for liability purposes for the studio.
So in December of 2022, how often would Ana Walshe attend bar method?
So she would be coming whenever she was in town. She was doing quite a bit of traveling back and forth to DC at that time. So I think she was there 3 or 4 times at least whenever she could come in, she wanted to be there.
So do you mean 3 or 4 times a week or something else?
I think December of 2022, she was there 3 or 4 times total, right?
And did she have a membership at that time?
She did not. She was paying drop-in classes.
And did you have communication with her about the classes via email?
Yes, she had emailed me when she found out that she was getting the new job in DC. She emailed me that she needed to discontinue her month-to-month unlimited class membership and that she would, drop in when she was around. And then when she came back to DC in December of 2022, she emailed me, I believe it was December 30th, saying that she had purchased a drop-in class, but she would rather do a special we were offering, which allowed her to take an unlimited amount of classes over the next month because she was going to be in the area more.
And you said when she came back, she came to DC, but did you mean when she came to
I'm
Cohasset?
sorry, when she came to Hingham, yes.
Okay. And did you maintain the email communication that you had with her in your normal course of business?
I did, yes. I kept my email from her and I have it to this day.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
I'm showing you 3 documents, if you could look at those. Do you recognize those documents?
Yes.
And what are those documents?
These are email communications from Ana to me. The first one is letting me know that she had gotten the new job opportunity in DC and telling me how wonderful her experience at the bar method had been. However, the last 10 years, she's taken classes in DC and the Boston locations. She said, we have developed an incredible team culture and feeling of being cared for. She loves the energy of the studio. She asked if we were ever considering opening one in DC. That was the first email. The second email was the one that I mentioned on December 30th, asking if she qualified for the 30-day unlimited special we were offering for $79. If so, could she exchange the single class that she booked for it, which is $29, and apply that towards the $79 special? And then I responded to her on January 1st because I was away on vacation at that time. And I said, technically, you don't qualify it since she had been in the studio recently, but I would honor it since her situation was so different than the norm.
Your Honor, I'd ask that those be the next 3 exhibits.
No objection.
All right. They'll be marked and admitted into evidence. So the 3 different emails are one from, what are the dates of those emails?
The first would be from February 27th of 2022.
Okay, that's in as 154. Well, did I mess that up? 153? Okay, so as it was coming out, I looked back up and saw there was no 153. So 153 is the email from 2/27/22. 154 is what? Date?
154 would be 12/30/2022.
Okay, and the third one?
The third one would be January 1st, 2023.
All right, those 3 are now in evidence, 153 to 155.
And did you also keep the registration for December 31st of 2022?
The class registration log?
Yes, I apologize.
Yes, we do.
Thank you for correcting me. And that's maintained in the normal course of business?
Yes, we have records of every single class.
And I'd ask that this be the next exhibit.
Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
The class registration for the bar method is in evidence, that's 156.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
And seeing that document, ma'am, do you, does that show, what does that show?
This shows that Ana Walshe created a reservation for class on the morning of December 31st. She did that on December 30th at 11:18 p.m. And it shows that she was checked in for class on December 31st at 8:17 p.m.
And does that show that she attended that class?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any cross?
Just briefly.
Good morning. Getting there.
The email that Mrs. Walsh had sent you asking to convert her drop-in to the unlimited monthly, that was on December 31st?
Was it December 30th or 31st?
December 30th or 31st?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason that she was asking to do that is because she expected to be in the South Shore area more the next month?
Yes.
Okay. You had mentioned that your studio requires a medical waiver?
When you sign the month-to-month agreement, you do acknowledge in there that you are healthy and that you have conferred with your doctor.
Okay. And she does that, or that a person, for example, does that once when they first start coming to you as a client?
They sign that every time they sign a contract.
Okay. So when was the last time Ana Walshe had signed a contract with Bar Method?
I believe it was September of 2021. I don't think she was actually ever able to book that last contract she wanted to.
Okay, so the health waiver that you're talking about, or the medical waiver, was September of 2022, or excuse me, September of 2021?
Yes.
Okay, and the medical waiver that someone signs, do they have to provide any type of medical documentation to confirm they are in fact good health?
No, we don't require a letter from a physician.
So it's just self-reporting? Yes?
Yes.
Nothing further, Judge.
Any redirect?
No, thank you.
The witness may step down. Thank you.
Do you want this?
I'll take that.
Commonwealth may call its next witness.
The Commonwealth would call Ashley Semino. She's going to do all of it.
Right this way. Just watch your step forward. There you go.
Thank you.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
What is your name?
My name is Ashley Semino.
Can you just pull the microphone just a little bit closer? Thank you so much. And can you spell your last name for the record?
Yes, Semino, Cimmino.
And what is your occupation, ma'am?
I'm a special education teacher and a bar instructor.
So how long have you been a special education teacher?
About 7 years.
And you said that you're also a bar instructor.
Yes, that's correct.
And where are you a bar instructor?
Currently at the Bar Method in Hingham.
And where else have you taught bar classes?
The Bar Method in Boston, both the Back Bay location and the Financial District location when they were open.
So how long have you been an instructor for bar method?
So I started working there in about 2010. And so it's been about 10 plus years since I started instructing.
And how do you become an instructor for bar method?
So we go through an intensive training. We sit with a trainer from headquarters. This person goes through an entire day with us. We have to take an anatomy exam, and we go through at least 3 to 6 months of training after that, co-teaching with a veteran instructor. And following that, to maintain our certification, we have to take a annual exam.
So do you need to be certified?
Yes.
And you have to maintain that certification yearly?
Yes, every year we take an exam.
Were you familiar with Ana Walshe?
Yes, when I first met her, she was on a NIP.
And where did you first meet Ana NIP?
At the Bar Method in Boston.
And when was that? Do you remember?
It was probably around 2011. At that time, I was working at the front desk, and she would frequent the lunchtime class.
And which bar method in Boston?
The Back Bay location. So that was on Clarendon Street.
And how often did you see her when you were at the bar method in the Back Bay location?
Almost every day.
Did you ever see Ana NIP outside of the bar method studio in Boston?
Occasionally, if we were bumping into each other on the street, but that would be it.
Well, did you ever see her at a different job that you might have had in Boston?
Yes, she had come to one of the Celtics games that I was working at.
What did you do for the Celtics?
I was a dancer.
And what was her demeanor when she came to bar method in Boston?
She was always so warm, seeing somebody every day.
Objection.
Overruled. We'll let the answer stand. Move on.
While in Boston, did you ever meet Brian Walsh?
He did come into the Bar Method, yes.
And how many times did you meet him?
At least once or twice.
Now, directing your attention to Saturday, December 31st of 2022, were you working that day?
I was
And where were you working?
at the Bar Method in Hingham.
And which class were you teaching?
I was teaching both classes. There's one around 8:15 and one around 9:15.
And who was in your 8:15 a.m. class?
Ana was.
And how long had you been an instructor at Bar Method in Hingham at that point?
That was my first day teaching at the Bar Method in Hingham.
And when did you first notice Ana Walshe?
So I wasn't familiar looking, we all get class lists of our class prior. So one of the Bar Method qualities is that we are able to call our clients by name as we're teaching them. And actually it was because of Ana in Boston that we always clarify with our clients, is it Ana or is it Ana? So I had asked our front desk staff that day, and she was like, I believe it's Ana. So when I started class, I just made a little note of it, but she wasn't there at the start of class.
When did she come in?
She came in about 10 minutes late.
And what did you do when she came in?
It was kind of like this oh my God moment, because with COVID, we had closed the Boston studios, and I had, had 3 children simultaneously at the time, so I took a little step back from teaching. And when those studios in Boston closed, I decided it was either going to Wellesley or Hingham, and I chose Hingham.
And what type of interactions did you have with her during the class?
During the class, I was instructing her. I was giving verbal adjustments, hand-on adjustments. But when she came in, we kind of had, oh my God, I can't believe that you're here.
And what type of exercise do you do during a bar class? How does it work?
So a Bar Method class, you work all your muscles in your body. You work your muscles to exhaustion, and then you stretch them to become longer and leaner, but also stay healthy and safe with your body.
So can you explain how you do that?
Sure. So we start off with a warm-up. You could do up to 60 push-ups in class. We move into a portion of class where you're working your thigh muscles. You work a portion of your seat. You go into curl, and there's some stretching in between. And typically a class is 45 minutes to an hour, and you use light to heavy weights depending on the client's choice.
And do you remember how long that class was?
That was a 45-minute class.
And how did Ana Walshe perform during that class?
She was a powerhouse. Clients are given the option during my setup that they can do push-ups on their hands and knees, hands and feet, or up at the bar for a modification. And she was doing the push-ups on the balls of her feet, on her hands. She was completing the motions. She was someone that you wanted to take class with because she made you work harder.
Did you notice any injuries on her during your class on December 31st of 2022?
No, and she did not make me aware of any that would change any of the exercises that we were doing.
And after the class was over, what interactions did you have with Miss Walshe?
We chatted, and actually I remember having to tell her, I'm so sorry, I can't finish our conversation because the next class was starting. So there was at least 15 to 20 minutes between when her class ended and the next one started.
And what, if anything, did she say about coming to the gym in the future?
So she had been so excited to see me because she had told me that I was one of her favorite instructors, and she was so happy to see that I was in Hingham. She was planning on coming to a lot more, and she wanted to know my schedule.
And have you seen Ana Walshe since Saturday, December 31st, 2022? If I might just have one moment, Your Honor. Nothing, thank you, Your Honor.
Cross.
Afternoon.
when was the last time you spoke to the prosecutors or police about your testimony today?
August, I believe?
Okay. You didn't speak to them today or yesterday?
No.
Okay. And you had mentioned that you are a special education teacher?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And then you also still teach bar?
Yes, that's correct.
And you're a mom?
I am.
Okay. Are you, and I'm not trying to be flip with you, but you're not a doctor?
No,
You're not a nurse?
I am not.
Did you perform any type of medical tests on Ana Walshe on December 31st?
No, I do not.
Are you aware if she had any pulmonary issues that were undiagnosed?
Not that I saw.
Are you a pulmonologist?
I am not.
Are you aware of any undiagnosed cardiac issues that she may have had on December 31st?
No.
Are you aware of any neurological issues that she may have been suffering from on December 31st?
No.
And prior to December 31st, what was the last date that you saw Ana Walshe?
I couldn't tell you.
Over a year?
Probably.
Nothing further, Judge.
Any redirect?
No, thank you.
The witness may step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commonwealth may call its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth would call Janet Cotter.
Right this way. Just watch your step for me. Step all the way in there so you get this chair. There you go. All set.
And you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Could you state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Janet Cotter, Cotter.
Ma'am, what town do you live in?
I live in Hingham, Massachusetts.
In January of 2023, did you reach out to the Cohasset Police Department?
I did.
Why?
I had had an interaction with Ana Walshe at a nail salon and had subsequently read about, what had happened to her. And
So I'm going to interrupt you there. I'd like to ask you about that interaction.
certainly,
Okay. Now, when did the interaction, first off, did you know Ana Walshe at all?
I did not.
Okay. When did this interaction with Ana Walshe occur?
On New Year's Eve in 2022
And where did it occur?
at a nail salon in Hingham called Glossy.
And now, how did you two interact at Glossy Nails?
We were just sitting side by side.
And did you have the opportunity to have any conversation with Ana Walshe?
I did.
Okay. First off, what was her demeanor when you were talking to her?
She was very friendly, very open and warm.
And do you remember what she was wearing?
I do. She was wearing yoga pants and a yoga top.
And what did she tell you about her work while the two of you were talking?
I believe she told me that she was employed in commercial real estate in Washington.
And where did she tell you that she resided?
She resided, I believe, in Washington part-time, but also lived in Cohasset.
What did she tell you about her family?
She told me she had 3 sons.
And did she say who was raising her 3 sons?
She indicated that her husband was helpful.
And what did she tell you about her plans for New Year's Eve?
She told me that she was entertaining. She was having somebody over for dinner. Yeah,
No, I apologize. I interrupted you. Did she say anything else?
she did not.
And what did she tell you about her plans for New Year's Day?
For New Year's Day, she told me that she was going to some kind of special dinner. Yeah, I think it was in Marblehead. And she was very much looking forward to it. She was going with just her husband.
How long did the two of you talk for?
Probably no more than 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
And I'm not someone who gets their nails done. What were you guys doing at the nail salon?
Well, we were getting a pedicure at the time, but we were there to get both.
Did you see any injuries on her at this point in time?
I did not.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross?
No questions. Thank you, Ms. Cotter.
The witness may step down. Thank you.
That chair for you.
Commonwealth may call its next witness.
The Commonwealth would call Julie Bassler.
Right this way. Step funny. Okay. Slide this chair in for you. There you go.
Thank you.
You may proceed.
Thank you. You might want to move up just a little bit and move that microphone in. Okay. Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Julie Bassler, B-A-S-L-E-R.
Thank you. And what do you do for work, Ms. Bassler?
I am the executive director of the Learning Experience in Dedham. Work for a daycare.
Thank you. And how long have you worked in childcare in general?
Over 30 years.
And where did you work in January of 2023?
Kindercare in Norwell, Mass.
And was that also in December of 2022?
Yes, it was.
Well, actually, how long did you work in Kindercare in Norwell?
For 1 year.
And in that capacity as the director of the center, did you have the opportunity to know the Walsh family?
Yes.
And how did you know them?
They were a family that attended, the 3 boys attended Kindercare.
And when were the children enrolled?
I believe probably September, around September maybe. I might be wrong. September 2022.
And how many children were enrolled?
3.
And what were the ages of the children that were enrolled?
The youngest was around 2, maybe about 15, 17 months. The middle child was 3, and the oldest, I believe, was 5.5, 6 at the time.
And did the oldest child stay at Kindercare, or did the oldest child move to the public schools at
He
some
went to
point?
the public schools, yes.
So in December into January of 2023, how many children were in the school?
2.
And how many days a week at that point, and I'm talking about December of 2022 into January of 2023, how many days a week did the 2 children attend the center?
5 days a week.
And who dropped off the 2 Walsh children?
Brian Walsh and sometimes the grandmother would be with them.
And by the grandmother, do you know the name of the grandmother?
I unfortunately forgot.
And do you know whose mother?
Brian Walsh's mom.
And what time was the typical drop-off for those children? What time did Brian Walsh typically drop them off?
I really can't remember, maybe 8:39, maybe 9, closer to 9.
And what about pickup? Who would do the pickup?
Brian Walsh as well.
And do you see Brian Walsh in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you please point him out?
Yes.
And can you say an article of clothing?
A pink tie and white shirt?
Your Honor, might the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant?
The record will still reflect.
And how often did you see Mr. Walsh's mother at the center?
Maybe once a week.
And what time of day would that be?
Usually in the mornings, around 9, drop-off time.
And did you ever see Ana Walshe at the center?
I saw her a few times. Usually I would see her at pickup.
And what days would that be?
Usually a Friday.
And how many times do you think you saw Ana Walshe at pickup?
3 or 4.
How many classrooms are at KinderCare?
Maybe 9 or 10.
How many students?
I would say at that time around 100.
Can you tell us the layout of the KinderCare in Norwell?
Sure. You walk in the front door and you need the key code to enter the building. And then there is a good-sized lobby. And you go through another door with another keypad code to get into the building. But the director's office and the assistant director's office is, when you walk into the lobby, there is a door that opens. And if we were in the office, that door would generally be open to, greet parents and families. And you could also go through that office to the hallway. So depending on which door you went, you would walk into a long hallway. And if you went to the left, it would be the preschool ages. And if you go to the right, it would be infant and the toddler ages.
And when Mr. Walsh dropped off the children, how would he generally enter KinderCare?
Usually we would say hello, and most days he would come through the office, and the boys like to go through the office.
And what, if anything, did you do to help him to get into the center?
Sometimes we would, we would just have them go through the office. That would be where the boys usually came through, and he usually came through the office area.
And what was he like in the mornings?
Very, would say hello and good morning, and, trying to get the boys to their classrooms.
And did you have conversations with him?
Yes, we would talk. We would say hello, and we would ask each other how was your day? Just small talk. Like I said, part of my job was to build relationships with the families, get to know them, and check on the boys, ask how the boys morning was or how their night was, things like that.
At any point, did you and Mr. Walsh speak about the children leaving the center to move?
I think that we did once. I think we did once about possibly him taking them out. Yes.
To go where?
To go to Washington.
And did you ask him about that?
I did. Yes.
And what, if anything, did he say?
It just wasn't definite yet. It was in the works.
Did he tell you when he expected to move?
I don't remember.
And why was it important for you to know?
If we have space available, we would love to fill those enrollments and, let families know that we have space available in those 2 classrooms.
So in January of 2023, how many days did you see Mr. Walsh drop off the children?
2 days.
Which days?
I want to say it was the 3rd and 4th.
January 3rd, that'd be a Tuesday, and January 4th, a Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. And what was his demeanor when he dropped the children off on those days?
He came in with the boys and went through the other door, the other key code door, and they did not come in the office. I do remember saying hello to him, and I believe my assistant director was also in the office. We both said, "Hi, Brian, good morning." Like I said, that was part of our routine to greet the families.
And what was his demeanor?
It was, in a rush, it's kind of like, come on, boys, let's go. I remember, when they went through, and that was it. He dropped the children off at class. So it was, definitely a little different than the usual conversations we would have in the morning.
Did you talk about anything those days?
No.
One moment. Thank you.
Any cross?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. Hi.
I want to talk to you a little bit about KinderCare.
Sure.
Is this one of the more high-end, fancy schmancy daycares?
I think it's in the middle right now. I think it was back then as well.
Okay. And when you said enrollment, is there usually a wait list?
There is.
There is.
Yes.
Okay. I think you had mentioned that the two boys were coming 5 days a week,
Yes.
and they enrolled in June of 2022?
I honestly don't remember the exact date they enrolled. I apologize.
No, not at all. You testified before with the prosecutors about this case?
Yes.
And you were asked questions about when the boys enrolled?
Yes. And like I said, I don't remember right now.
You don't have to remember.
Okay.
Looking at a copy of your transcript, refresh your memory as to when the boys enrolled?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Just what page? Just ask what page.
Sorry about that. I don't have my glasses, so I think it's
Okay.
on- I used to not need them,
Okay.
but I think it's either that page or that. Just take a look and let me know if it refreshes your memory as to when the boys enrolled.
The end of June.
End of June?
Yes.
Okay. Of 2022?
Yes.
Okay, and so from June of 2022 until the end of December of 2022, the two boys were coming 5 days a week?
Yes.
And you had said that Mr. Walsh would do drop-off every morning?
Yes.
And I think sometimes you said his mom would be with him?
Yes.
Okay, and then he would also do pickup?
Yes.
And in those 6 or 7 months, you had said that you had met or seen Ana Walshe, I think, 3 or 4 times?
Yes.
And those pickups, were those on Thursday or Friday night?
Usually Fridays, or I might have seen her once on a Thursday night.
Okay. And you had mentioned, let me ask it a little bit better. Ms. Yaz was asking you about Mr. Walsh's demeanor those 2 days in January when he dropped the boys off. And you had said that it was different,
Yes.
that he didn't say anything to you or have a conversation.
Yes.
You said it was different than the other mornings when you speak with him.
Yes.
So the other mornings when he would drop off his two boys, he was friendly.
Yes.
He would say good morning.
Yes.
He didn't seem rushed.
Yes.
Would he chat with you about how you're doing,
Yes.
how's work? Oh, yes?
Yes.
Okay. This was different.
Yes.
Okay. When someone brings their kids to daycare, do they have to bring a lunch for them?
No.
Do you provide lunch and snacks?
Yes.
Do they have to provide diapers, formula?
Yes.
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 Do they have to provide a change of clothes?
Yes.
So each day, whoever is dropping off the child, parent, friend, auntie, they have to bring a little bag for each kid.
Yes.
And it's something that presumably the parent would pack each night or each morning.
Yes.
Okay. And when Mr. Walsh would bring his two little sons, he would have two little bags that would be packed for both of them.
Yes.
And again, change of clothes, diapers, anything else that they bring?
If they had like a favorite stuffed animal, maybe.
Okay.
Things like that.
Okay. And am I correct that when kids are at daycare, sometimes they'll make little art projects or drawings about their parents or about
Yes.
their life? Yes. And then those would be given to the parents when they come pick them up?
Yes.
Okay. And in those 6 or 7 months, was there ever a parent-teacher conference or a school night or anything?
Yeah, we would have some school nights, like babysitting nights,
A what night?
like a babysitting night, like it's parent night out.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember if the boys ever attended that.
Okay. But would there be, I guess, options for parents to communicate with the teachers or staff at KinderCare about how their kid's doing if there's any issues?
Yes.
Okay, and did you ever have conversations with Mr. Walsh about how his boys were?
I believe once.
Okay, and it was good, everything was great, the boys are cute, fine, there were no issues?
Yeah, there was just, we talked daily, ask questions, things like that.
When you say you talk daily, you mean with the little kids?
Yes, and with the parents.
Okay, and that is something that was common with Mr. Walsh, that when he would come in or pick the kids up 5 days a week, that he was friendly, right?
Yes.
He was engaging,
Yes.
he was invested in his son's lives,
Yes.
and he would talk to you about their progress.
Yes.
Nothing further, Judge.
Any redirect?
No, thank you.
Witness may step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commonwealth may call its next witness.
Commonwealth would call Sandra Waldrop.
Okay. Right this way. Just watch your step. A little bit further in. Oh, there you go.
And I sit down?
Yep, you're all set.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Could you please state your name for the record and spell your last name for us, please?
Sandra Hempel Waldrop. Last name is Hempel, Hempel, Waldrop, Waldroup.
Where do you work, ma'am?
I work at the Claremont in Abington, an apartment complex.
Where is the Claremont located in Abington?
At 500 North Quincy Street in Abington, Massachusetts.
And what do you do for the Claremont?
I'm the general manager.
And how many units are at the Claremont?
91.
What are the responsibilities of the general manager?
Well, my responsibilities, I'm also head of maintenance, so I do everything. If there's nothing that I do not do, I do everything.
And how long have you held that position at the Claremont?
Since 2018.
What does the Claremont have for surveillance videos on the outside?
Could you rephrase?
Sure. Do you have any surveillance cameras at the Claremont apartment complex?
Yes.
Okay. And how many cameras do you have for the outside of your apartment complex?
Oh, for the outside.
Yes.
Give me 1 second.
Sure.
2, 3, 4. 4 on the outside. I believe 3 in the back parking lot and 1 at the front.
Now, how many dumpsters are there at the Claremont?
A total of 3 dumpsters. 2 gated areas, 2 dumpsters in one, and 1 dumpster on the top hill.
On the top of the hill. And the Claremont, is it near any other apartment complexes?
Yes, it's so right behind us, our back parking lot, there is the Chestnut Glen. Years ago, it used to be the same owner. It used to be connected.
In Chestnut Glen, is that an apartment complex or is it assisted living or like what is Chestnut Glen?
It is a home for the elderly and disabled.
Okay. And now, I had asked you about the surveillance videos. In January of 2023, did you have the opportunity to produce any surveillance videos to law enforcement as a
Yes.
result of this case? You did? Okay. And have you had a chance to review those videos on a thumb drive?
I didn't review it I saw it on the screen, actually, yes.
Okay. And let me ask you this about your videos. Are they kept in the normal course of business?
Yes,
Are they kept in good faith?
yes,
And I take it your cameras, they're always recording?
yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you this drive and ask if you recognize it.
Yes.
And how do you recognize it?
Because I initialed it and signed it. This is what I watched on the screen. This is the thumb drive. Yes, sorry
All
about
right,
that.
so what you watched on the screens were your videos.
Yes, that is correct.
The Commonwealth would seek to have this drive marked as the next exhibit, Your Honor, with the videos from the Claremont of January 3rd, 2023.
No objection.
No objection. It's marked and admitted into evidence as, are we at 157? Thank you very much.
Your Honor, may I publish?
You may.
Thank you. Ms. Gilman, could we have what's now been marked as Exhibit 157? Could we go to the video channel 14? And if you could bring us to 3 minutes and say 15 seconds. Pause, if I may. Ms. Waldrop, what area are we looking at of the Claremont?
This is the front entrance, the right when you come in. So, yeah.
Okay. And how many entrances are there to the apartment complex?
6.
6. Okay. Ms. Gilman, if you could press play. Thank you. Ms. Gilman, could you pause? All right. Now, Ms. Waldrop, I have some questions about your videos in and of themselves.
Yes.
The date on the video, what is the date in the top left-hand corner?
January 3rd, 2023.
And the time, what does it denote the time?
It's 4:33 p.m.
Now, in January 2023, were there any issues as far as the time on your videos being different from the real time?
Yes, I believe at the time it was, I don't know for sure, but I believe it was about 20 minutes difference. And sometimes it does that. It jumps and then I don't notice it till I actually have to pull up video for some reason. And then I'm like, okay, then I see it in real time that it's wrong.
Okay, so there are times when the time on your video is not the correct time.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, as a result of working at the Claremont, are you familiar with the vehicles of your residents?
Yes.
And how many of your residents had Volvo's XC90s at the time?
None to my knowledge.
Miss Gilman, if you could press play, please. Pause. Ms. Waldrop, did you recognize this vehicle as being one of your residents?
No.
And if you could press play, Miss Gilman. On this same video, Ms. Gilman, could you bring us to 13 minutes and 59 seconds? Ms. Gilman, I'm going to ask now if you could bring us to the next video from Claremont, which I believe is titled Claremont. Thank you. Ms. Waldrop, before you, if you could just pause it at this point in time. Ms. Waldrop, where are we looking at the Claremont apartment complexes in this second video?
So this is the, right when you come to the back, this is actually at the bottom of the hill or of the backside where the two dumpsters are located in that fenced area right there.
In that fenced area. And you said they're gated. Is there a lock to them or anything like that?
No.
And what access do you give the general public to your dumpsters? It's people who don't live there. Can they use them?
No, they're not supposed to, no. And there's signs that, that, yeah, it's private property and they are on the surveillance. I mean, it's on surveillance. So they're not meant to use our dumpsters, no.
Could you press play this, Gilman? Thank you, Ms. Gillen. And finally, how many ways are there in and out of the property?
One. There is really one. So there used to be, there's a smaller little, almost like a narrow walkway now that people used to use sometimes. They weren't supposed to because you can't actually have a vehicle. It's not the width of a vehicle. So technically, could you take another way? Yes, but there's only one driveway. Yes, one entrance, front entrance. Sorry about that.
I think that my earlier question was probably an article. When I asked you how many ways are there into the property, and you said 6. You talking about the
Oh, entrances. I thought you meant entrances as in the doors. We have 6. I'm so sorry. We have one way to get into the complex, one driveway to get in, 6 exits or entrance doors, and there is a little pathway coming from Chestnut. Yes, but it's not a driveway. It's not, but if somebody, I've seen it before when there was a roadblock and then people would just, but it's not meant to be used. So
Okay.
my apologies.
No, you don't have to apologize. I didn't ask the right question. You fixed it, so thank you. My question was how many ways are there into the property, I guess, from the street?
One.
One. Okay. And then there's this path area that sometimes people should use, but they could use.
It rarely now, I haven't seen it actually in years, but there was a time and then, yeah, it stopped.
And that pathway would lead Chestnut Glen.
Yes, and into their parking lot.
Got it.
Yes,
And as far as how to get in and out of the buildings, there's 6.
correct.
Nothing further. Thank you very much.
Cross?
A few questions.
Sure.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Glad I get to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
Those dumpsters you just told us about that we saw in the video.
Yeah.
Is there any signage on the dumpsters saying when they're going to be picked up?
No.
Do you have a website for the Claremont?
Yes.
Does that have any notice on when the dumpsters are going to be picked up?
No.
Thank you very much.
May I ask one on redirect?
You may.
When was the dumpster picked up? After January 3rd?
What day of the week was that? When it was a Tuesday? I'm sorry.
Sure, I have a calendar right here on my
Or-
desk. If January 3rd was a Tuesday, when would the dumpster have been picked up?
Wednesday. It gets picked up Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursday. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Thank
3
you.
times a week. Yeah.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Any recross?
That's it.
You may step down.
Thank you.
The Commonwealth would call Connor Keith. I think so.